Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. One of the biggest surprise packages for me anyway in the first half of 2018 has been the Richard Legrand Odyssey 2. When I reviewed it a couple of months ago, I described it as the classiest $300 diver you've never heard of. That has now changed. My review video has over 70,000 views and the watch popped up on a number of other YouTube channels, raising its profile further still. So much so that the blue dial version that I looked at has now sold out, and well it might. It was a cracking watch for only $299 US. You can perhaps then imagine my surprise when a viewer commented that the black dial and all black DLC models had been reduced by 30 US and 60 US respectively. I reached out to Richard Legrand and said, are you crazy? If so, would you mind sending me 2 of those in for review? And they did exactly that. So today, not the full review, I'm going to do a little mini review on them, dimensions and specifications and so on, but I'm going to size them up, get them on my wrist, see if it's worth going for the black dial or the DLC version, especially at that reduced price. Now, I've never owned a black DLC coated watch myself, but I've always had one eye on some of the more popular models. I've got a few straps in my cupboard that I think are going to look sensational against that black case, so I'm going to do a bit of a strap fest, a bit of a strap fashion show with the black one. Let's flip the camera and see if I'm right.
So, back in black. I'll be honest with you, that's probably the first piece of akadaka I've played in 15 years of living in Australia. Sorry about that, Australia. I'm really not sure why these two Richard Legrands aren't selling the same rate as the blue dial one. There is a fairly strong argument that a black dial dive watch is the perfect one watch collection. It is the most versatile of all watches. Not too sure about the DLC one. As I said, I haven't owned one of these myself, but at $240 I found this one too intriguing to pass up having another look at that. So what I'm going to do today, not the full shaboogle, I'm going to rattle through a mini review fairly quickly, dimensions and specifications, then a double loom shot. I'm going to get each of these two watches on wrist, a couple of different perspectives there as well, and then I've got a bit of a treat for each of them. I'm going to put the black dial one on this Bond Phenomenato. These Phenomenatos are arguably the best that money can buy. I think the brushed hardware is going to complement the case perfectly, and that black dial is going to play nicely off the colours of the Bond. Then I'm going to put the all black one on this rust-coloured Collar-Ebb Spoleto. I think the beautifully aged strap is going to go off that clean, modern dial and case colour of the watch beautifully. I appreciate that the hardware won't necessarily match today. That's a bit of an issue with these black ones. You have to replace the hardware as well, but I reckon that is going to look sensational. So 41 millimeters in diameter. This watch is 14 millimeters thick. We've got a lug tip to lug tip of 47.5 millimeters. 20 mil lug width, tapering down to 18 mil at the clasp, giving us a 20 mil clasp, and it's a proper mil clasp today with a nice horizontal deep etching Richard Legrand logo and double safety pushers. Now, sized up for my 7-inch wrist, this one weighs in at 156 grams, so a pretty decent middle weight for an all stainless steel dive watch. So stainless steel case, stainless steel crown, stainless steel bezel, stainless steel bracelet and clasp. As discussed, we've got a double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating on the underside, but where this watch gets really interesting is when you zoom in a little closer on the dial. We've got a ceramic sunburst dial and a sapphire bezel insert, and it is fully loomed as well. I'll pop up a loom video in just a minute or two. We've got applied indices, batons at the 2, the 4, the 5, etc, etc. We've got applied Arabics at the 12, 3, 6 and 9. No date on this one though, as you can see. Keeps the dial nice and clean. Kind of vintage style. Unguarded crown as well. Decent Richard Legrand embossed crown there as well, and it's fairly grippy, so no problems getting a hold of that one. Very attractive stamped case back there, quite a deep stamp on that, featuring the Odyssey logo, the crossed anchors and the diver's helmet. Screw down case back obviously as well, as you can see there, affording this watch 200 meters of water resistance, just advertising the fact that it is all 316L stainless steel and automatic. And as you can see there, the solid end links on the bracelet. The movement in both of these watches is the ubiquitous Seiko NH35. Now that does mean that there is a space, there's no date wheel obviously, they haven't bothered to use the NH38, so you do get a one pull to hand wind, two pulls to set the date but there's no date wheel, and then the third pull to hack this movement. So it hacks at hand winds, 24 joule, 42 hour power reserve. 21,600 vibrations per hour. It is robust and it is reliable. I generally get plus or minus 10 seconds out of these Seikos, so they're a good choice. Arguably all the movement that you really need in a watch, one of these Seikos. Finishing throughout is perfectly adequate, brushing on the case there, a little bit of polish on the edge of the lug and a nice coin edge bezel. Now it is a 90 click unidirectional rotating bezel, a little bit of an unusual choice but shouldn't be a massive issue, as this, to be honest, is mostly going to be diving at your desk rather than 20,000 leagues under the sea. And there is the double lume shot, black dial on the left, all black on the right, though to all intents and purposes these two watches are the same. BGW9 Superluminova, so you get that ice blue colour, perhaps not quite as bright as C3, but a nice blue tone, plenty of it, including that sapphire bezel, and lasts a decent amount of time, so the lume on these watches definitely one of their strengths. Let's get them on the wrist then. As I mentioned at the beginning, a black dial dive watch is probably the single most versatile watch that anybody can own. There's an argument that that is really all one ever needs. You can rock this one in a suit Monday to Friday, you can wear it with jeans and t-shirt down at the beach at the weekend, no worries at all. Looks great. All brushed finishing on this one. As I said, I really enjoy that. The fact that they have landscaped the logo on the clasp there really does add a little bit of extra thought that's gone into this watch. Love the fact that it's got the sapphire bezel insert as well. Really does this make this watch look far classier than the now $269 price tag would suggest. Zoomed out for a bit of perspective, 41mm, perhaps giving it slightly larger, a bit more wrist presence than the kind of 40mm Submariner style clone watches. Definitely looks pretty good on my 7-inch wrist. As does the all black one, if you're looking to make a statement or just add something a little bit different to your collection. Now I think I've called it DLC and PVD over the course of this video. Their website doesn't actually specify, so if you're keen on this one, probably worth sending an email to Richard Legrand just to clarify what exactly it is, how they have coated the finish on this case and bracelet. But looks good, those stark white numerals and handset popping nicely off the black. And back in for a close-up on this one before I start the strap fashion show. Very, very legible due to the fact that this is on the black dial, black bezel insert as well. Looks really nice. So what do you think of that? Black dial version on a super comfortable, very high quality Phenomenato. I'm not a massive fan of NATO straps, but I do occasionally wear this one out and about on my 20mm lug width watches. Looks great on this Richard Legrand, and I was pleased to note consistency of finishing even behind the end links and good quality spring bars. A lot of companies cheap out on spring bars, but thankfully not the case here today. And I've been looking forward to seeing this combo since I got this watch into the house. As mentioned, this is a collar ebb Spoleto in rust brown. Makes everything look like $1,000,000. Obviously it could do with an 18mm black DLC or PVD clasp there, a little buckle on it, but I think it looks pretty good. Certainly shows you that you can change the look of one of these all black watches fundamentally just by swapping out the strap. So moans and niggles then. Well, there's no date, and that might not suit everybody. You know, there is obviously a question mark as to how durable any coating on any stainless steel watch is going to be long term. So if you're concerned about the long term viability and durability of the black one, then perhaps go for the stainless steel. And you know, at $300 it is possible to pick a Miyota 9015 in a dive watch occasionally if you look hard enough, but once you knock the price by $30 or $60, the Seiko NH35 makes perfect sense. So really not too many negatives with these ones today at all. And just to clarify, if this has sounded like an advert, it is not an advert. There is no traceable link. I am not on a sales commission here. I don't really give a monkey's whether you buy one of these or not, but the whole pitch of this channel is about value for money, and I think the Richard LeGrand Odyssey 2 represented excellent value for money. At $299, it now represents an even bigger bargain at $269 and $239. Have a look through the comments of my previous video, people who have spent their money on these ones and are very, very satisfied with their purchase. Highly recommended this one. So there you have it, the Richard LeGrand Odyssey 2. I still can't quite believe that they've decided to knock money off this watch. They must indeed be bonkers. It was a great watch at $299. It's still a great watch at $269, and an even better watch at $239. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.